There inside and outside the court today, and even more. So you have spoken to Edward Zuma, another family member. He, I believe, has spoken out about the shackles, and there's been so much debate in South Africa about the shackles. Duduzane Zuma himself seemed to be okay with it. Let's just clarify firstly, there were no shackles today. This is a magistrate's court. But what did Edward Zuma have to say?
Well, Francis, this is the very first time that a member of the Zuma family is speaking out following that uproar when Duduzane Zuma had appeared in the Commercial Crimes Court relating to the state capture charges earlier this week. And basically what Edward Zuma is saying, he described it as disgusting, and basically called on the Human Rights Commission to step in this particular matter. He didn't really want to go into whether he will be laying a complaint with the Human Rights Commission, but basically said he didn't believe that that should have been done, and that clearly, including the magistrate of that court, needs to account. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
As to the issue of Duduzane appearing in court in the commercial crimes on Monday, and in shackles, really, it's disgusting. It's just uncalled for, because this is a person who submitted himself to the law enforcement authorities, not violent, really. So there was really no reason for such to have happened, and I believe the Human Rights Commission should be taken to task in this regard, and the Magistrate Council should really be taken to task as to where does this norm come from.
That was the voice of Edward Zuma, another son of former President Jacob Zuma. We are talking about Duduzane Zuma appearing in court today. And just to clarify, so the Hawk said earlier that it was the court's decision and the court's discretion, and that Commercial Crimes Court did in fact make everybody that appeared there appear in shackles, but he's calling for the Human Rights Commission to investigate. What else is he saying? Because there's been a lot of speculation about the timing of this case. You know, we're 4 years after the fact.
Remember, Francis, in 2014 when the accident occurred, you had a whole inquest into the death, or what caused the death of Phumzile Dube, and it was found that Duduzane Zuma's negligent actions had led to her death. The National Prosecuting Authority, of course, refused to prosecute at the time, and since then there have been accusations that the National Prosecuting Authority did not prosecute Duduzane Zuma because he was the former president's son. Jacob Zuma, of course, was the president at the time. So now what Edward Zuma is saying is that they believe the resuscitation, if I may, of these charges at the moment are politically motivated, and this is just but a way to punish the former President Jacob Zuma. You would know that he's dealing with his own legal woes, and basically saying that the resuscitation of these charges, there are people who are trying to ensure that more suffering is brought to the Zuma family, and basically they would want to see the entire Zuma clan, if I may, in court answering for a particular crime, whatever it may be. So what they're saying is that even though they will allow the courts to run their course in terms of this criminal matter, they do believe that there is some underhanded activity. They believe that they want that to be investigated as well. Let's take a listen to what Edward Zuma had to say about that.
Notwithstanding that the law should take its course at any given time and at any level, no matter who you are and where you come from, I personally believe that this particular matter is politically motivated. Obviously, we know the target is not Duduzane, the target is the former president. You know, they failed to tarnish his image, and they will do anything in their powers. My belief as Edward Zuma that it is politically motivated, and it is done deliberately to further their endless mission of tarnishing the image and the integrity and the legacy of the former president, which they have failed for so many years, and they shall continue to fail.
So Edward Zuma suggesting the whole family is being targeted now, and you were saying there was quite a family presence. Just take us to the court today.
Well, Francis, absolutely like nothing we have seen before. We saw the brothers as well as the sisters inside court today, and of course we got some wind of the fact that the former president Jacob Zuma will be arriving in court today. In fact, he did. He arrived just shortly after the case had been postponed. He did not get out of the VIP protection vehicle. I think everybody was waiting to see what he will say, and I think many journalists were also looking to ask other questions perhaps about what his views are on this particular case, given that the former president also believes that there's a vendetta against him, a political vendetta against him. So quite a strong presence of the Zuma family that we saw in court today. And just speaking to Duduzane Zuma, while he did not want to speak on camera, I had several conversations with him off camera, and he basically indicating that the family is going through this particular process, and the courts, I guess, will have to see to it until they finish.
Did he seem as upbeat is the word, or calm as he was when he appeared just recently, like you say, on those corruption charges?
Well, he seemed very calm. In fact, Francis, I asked him about how he felt about appearing in court just days apart from each other on different matters, and he simply responded by saying he was hungry. And that's the only thing that the media could basically get from him today.
So outside, it's not the throngs that we've seen when the former president himself has appeared, but a bit tense. BLF, Afriforum, describe what it was like to be there.
Very much like the scenes that were seen outside the Commercial Crimes Court. Remember that Black First, Land First had also protested outside that court, also saying that this is a political conspiracy and that Duduzane Zuma is being targeted. The very same scenes that we saw, but much more intense, outside the Randburg Magistrate's Court, where once Duduzane Zuma's case had been postponed, then the CEO of Afriforum had walked out, and the BLF members who had been protesting the innocence of Duduzane Zuma pertaining to the iron legs in particular, the leg irons, and basically saying that this needs to be investigated. They feel that he's being unfairly treated, and the scenes that you saw at the Commercial Crimes Court, there was absolutely no need for him to be in those shackles. So what we basically saw was Kallie Kriel, the CEO of Afriforum, being threatened by Black First, Land First. Quite a number of profanities that I cannot repeat were hurled at each other.
You saw him talking in his ear.
That's right. Counter accusations of racism, and police had to step in that particular matter. But Afriforum says it won't be laying any charges, and they won't be deterred by any threats by anyone to pursue this particular matter.
All right. Just a reminder that they threatened a civil action after that.
A private prosecution.
The police did pursue the charges they didn't want to pursue initially, although it could be said as provocative for the Afriforum to be there at court in the first place. We have to leave it there, but you'll continue following this case for us, speaking to family members and people, authorities on both sides. That was senior reporter Chriselda Lewis. We take a short break.